Welcome back to another episode of Tough Men of Faith. Nick Robertson here with RT Stringer.
I'm here.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good week?
Yeah, it's actually been a really good couple of weeks.
Good.
Yeah, we had all that snow a week or so ago, and man, it's been awesome.
It was a lot of snow.
It was.
So I have teenage daughters.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of past the sledding age.
Okay.
But I was pumped.
Are you ever past the sledding age?
Well, I mean, we went.
Okay.
So here's the problem, though.
Were they just glued to their phones the whole time?
No.
Okay.
But I wanted to go sledding, and it was like the day before we knew the snowstorm was hitting.
Yeah.
And when we moved, I threw away our sled because it was kind of busted up.
Okay.
I thought, I got to get a sled.
Yeah.
So I went looking everywhere for the sled
Yeah.
to find a new one. I finally found one at a sporting goods store.
Nice.
They had one sled left. Do you know how much a sled cost?
No, I just heard a story about this the other day. Somebody told me they're outrageous.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hesitant. I feel like I should say now.
Yeah.
But I'm hesitant to say because my wife doesn't know.
Oh, that was because you're
Luckily, she doesn't
past your
listen.
salary, and people think that you're pulling out of the tithe bucket for a sled for your kids.
No,
No.
I'm not sure the weekly ties would have covered it.
It's that bad, huh?
So I thought,
Yeah. Anyway.
I was leaving the store and I saw they had like 3 left.
Okay. Did you buy all 3?
No, I couldn't afford all 3.
You should have bought all 3 and put 2 of them for sale on the internet.
No. So I go up there.
Yeah.
It was a little over $100
Wow.
for a sled. Like nothing fancy. Like
I was just making a joke about you pulling money, but
no,
okay, that's
no.
crazy.
So I mean, Karen doesn't know. So
Well, not yet.
Not yet.
She'll know soon.
Maybe.
You resold the sled, didn't you?
I haven't.
Just
So
tell her you're going to at the end of the season.
well, here's where it gets worse.
Yeah.
We go sledding the next day.
Okay.
And so I don't know if you remember the storm. It hit on like that Wednesday night and Thursday. So
Yeah.
Thursday we go out in the middle of the storm.
Yeah.
We live next to a park, and so there's some hills there.
Yeah.
I send my 2 oldest down the hill on the sled. They get up, and the sled's super light. It starts blowing away. It ends up going up in the air, like 15 feet in the air, and it's just blowing like crazy.
Super light.
The girls are just looking at me,
Yeah.
and I'm recording it because I record them come down the hill. I'm like, go get the sled. And I was nice about it, and they
Yeah.
didn't. So then I'm yelling at them like, go get the sled. And they're like, why are you yelling at us? We'll go get it. It's no big deal. And then it goes further. It crosses this creek, and this keeps on going.
You don't realize this is a $100 sled, kiddo. You're not going to eat lunch next week because we went sledding this week.
So that's what I told him. I said, you've got to go get it.
Right.
Yelling at him.
Yeah.
So they take off running. One of them steps into the creek. They get wet because it wasn't busted, but they get the sled.
Nice.
They come back. It's like, I'm not a big yeller, like at something like that. I
Yeah.
usually don't care. Like, why are you yelling at us? Like, don't tell your mom.
Right.
But I paid $100 for this sled. We went down the hill 4 times, and we're gonna lose it.
Man.
Anyways, so
Yeah.
I'm probably in trouble now. But
It'll be okay.
yeah, $100. Maybe
Yeah.
I can resell it.
I went and plowed some snow
Yeah.
during that snowstorm. Maybe I'll loan you the money. You know?
Thanks. Yeah. You want to buy a sled?
Yeah, maybe I'll buy a sled from you.
$115.
Yeah, exactly.
It works great.
And like a 15% markup on it.
Like, you probably could have. Yeah, but I don't know what got us on that. But
Yeah. Wow.
so, anyways,
Okay.
yeah, good week.
Yeah. What we talking about this week?
Burnout.
Like the smoking stuff makes you a burnout?
No. Like on my motorcycle. Have you ever seen me
Yeah.
do a burnout?
Oh, yeah.
So,
Okay.
so-
So,
that got me in trouble one time.
did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know we need to get to our topic.
No, it's okay. Go
Do you want
ahead.
to hear this story?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, before like the 500, there's always a lot of bikes that would ride out like at the track.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Indianapolis 500.
Yeah.
So I'd go out there on my bike. This was years ago.
Did you go
right?
out to like the snake pit?
No, we would
No.
just go out there and ride through, like on the streets out there.
Gotcha.
So we're out there one night. A buddy of mine comes down. There's about 6 of us on bikes.
Yeah.
And so he starts doing a burnout. And he's older. Like he probably had 20 years on the rest of us. He's
Okay.
the wise one. He wasn't riding stupid or anything.
Gotcha.
I don't know what got to him. His wife was on the back of the bike. And so he starts doing a burnout.
Okay.
Just standing there doing it.
Yeah.
And so the crowd just starts cheering like crazy, right? So, I mean, so he gets into
Hey,
it.
wait a minute. I could do this.
Yeah. So he just keeps doing it.
Yeah.
The crowd's going nuts, cheering him on. And so he just keeps doing it. Smokes everywhere. You can't see anything.
Yeah. So
Next
he's already
thing I know-
drawing the attention of the police.
Next thing I know, you see lights flashing through the smoke.
Next thing you know, you're doing a burnout.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
The cops pull up,
Yeah.
pull us all over. Of course, it was obvious he was doing the burnout. His wife gets off the back of the bike and then starts walking away.
Yeah. She's got rubber all down her
Yeah.
back.
She was so mad.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so we're not talking about that type of burnout.
Okay.
We're talking about the burnout from working too much,
Oh.
stress, just life, right?
Yeah, I've recently been going through this.
Yeah, I asked you a couple nights ago, we were talking about a topic, and I said, hey, what do you think about doing a topic on burnout?
Yeah.
That sounds
Like, man, are
great.
you reading my mind or are you calling me out here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been dealing with a lot of burnout. Not a lot of burnout, but just being burnt out at work.
hmm
It's like I can't re-engage.
Yeah. Well, I think you were sharing with me earlier that it's the World Health Organization
Yeah, the
or
World Health
something.
Organization now they consider burnout to be a legitimate health
Well,
diagnosis.
if they say it, it's true. We've learned that the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's exactly what we've learned the last 2 years from the WHO.
2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Yeah, right. But no, they say a syndrome from chronic workplace stress that hasn't been properly managed is what burnout is.
A
And
syndrome from chronic workplace stress.
hmm
Yeah. I think it goes broader than just workplace, but
you know, I agree, it does.
yeah.
But I feel like so. I guess when you kind of asked me about this the other day, is I was thinking about this more from just a work,
hmm
just being burnout on work, but you know, being burnout at home life, church life, you know,
Yeah.
social life. There's so many different areas where burnout occurs.
It does. A lot of
Um,
times I think maybe it starts at work, but then it carries over to
yeah,
if you're burnout, you're not a good husband. You're
right. I mean, I'm a great husband,
well,
but
you always are, but I
yeah,
mean for the average
but
guys like
yeah, some
me,
guy out
right?
there.
When I get burnout, I know that
Yeah,
it's not good for Karen or my kids or
yeah,
volunteer work I do or anything. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Usually my wife tells me that. She's like, I can tell that you're burnt out at work because you've disengaged
Hmm.
in our marriage.
Do you think that's like a sign? Like for me, it's like what are the signs so I can see that I'm becoming burnout?
Yeah.
Like I think it's good to know yourself.
Yeah, no, I think disengaging is a huge one. You know, just you kind of get those feelings of like energy depletion or
hmm
exhaustion, and you know, you're just like kind of like an increased mental distance is kind of what I think of when I think of being burnout.
I think I can get to a place where I disengage. I think the earlier signs for me on burnout is I start doing everything alone.
Yeah,
So I have all this work to do, and all of a sudden I start like putting myself in a silo or by myself,
Yep.
and I just like I'm gonna put my head down and do it all.
yeah,
And it's an early sign of me that hey something's off here.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I noticed. I don't know, maybe 6, 8 months ago. It's like I just totally got disengaged with work stuff, and I realized that I was burnt out, and it's crazy because you know I disengaged from work, I disengaged from the people at work, I quit talking to people, I quit listening. I put my head down and do as much as I can possibly do for a short while, and then I even quit doing that too. And I mean, I totally disengage. And
Yeah.
reading this week on some ways to fix that and some, you know, ways around that and to even some of the signs of it has been a huge help for me because I wasn't noticing that I was burnt out for a while.
that's the problem. Like I don't think a lot of times you realize it, and all of a sudden some guys, if alcohol something they
Yeah.
find themselves with every night they're drinking,
Right.
they're not engaged.
Yeah.
They come home. There's no meaning to life. They get really cynical on their life outlook.
Yeah.
Anxiety,
Yep.
not sleeping or sleeping too much.
Right. Well, and that's something I was gonna say is you know, like reducing burnout. It just seemed like I came home, I just fall into the same old, you know, routine. I'd come home, I'd have a beer after work, I'd do a little bit of paperwork, I'd usually end up going through my phone, looking through emails and looking through phone calls and making phone calls, and then I'd go to sleep or I'd eat dinner and go to sleep, and I'm not hanging out with the wife, I'm not hanging out by myself, I'm not reading my Bible, I'm not praying, I'm not, you know.
Yeah.
There's so many things I'm not doing, and then I'm doing unhealthy things at the same time, and you know, then it changed, and all of a sudden, hey, no, we're not going home, and we're not having a drink after work, and hey, we're not gonna go home and do emails and do paperwork, and you know, there needs to be a time where you have to turn that off, and you have to stop, and you know, you have to disengage, but it's got to be the right time and the right way.
Yeah.
You can't do it 24/7 on, 24/7 off.
And a lot of times you're doing good work,
Yeah.
right? So it's not like we're doing wrong things that cause you to get burnt out. Like so maybe you're trying to run a business or you're working your 9 to 5, whatever it is. You're working your job. You're supplying for your family. You're going for that promotion. You're doing
Yeah.
good things. Then you're volunteering at a church or a nonprofit. You're spending time with your friends. You're
Right.
helping your friends move or whatever. Maybe so you're doing all these good things.
Yeah.
And then eventually you just find yourself numb to it.
Yeah.
I find myself that my burnout comes a lot of times after like good things happen.
Really?
So if you talk to me on a Monday morning,
Yeah.
if we had a great Sunday at church, we had a huge crowd, and if we have baptisms and just a really good Sunday.
Yeah.
Monday morning, I'm usually at a place like, life sucks. This is awful.
Yeah.
No one likes me.
Wow. Okay.
Everything's bad. I just need to quit.
Yeah.
And it's usually after like a good week or
Yeah,
a
like
good
a
day
big
for me.
kind of
or
big uphill on the
Yeah,
roller coaster. Or,
a big season where a lot of good things happen.
yeah.
Then you just kind of get worn out.
Okay.
But there's a story in the Bible about a guy named Elijah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's a pretty funny story. But we won't go through it all. But 1 Kings 18 talks about it. And so he has some good things happen. So basically, you guys should read it if you hadn't. But he there's a drought in the land. And so the people are following these false prophets.
Yeah.
And so he says, hey, we're going to have, I don't know how you describe it. Maybe like a Super Bowl of decide who's the best.
Okay.
Like whose God is real. And so he invites all these false
Is this like
prophets.
the Colosseum in Greece?
Yeah, except they're at like an altar. They're on a hill, Mount Carmel there. So he invites them and he tells them, he's like, hey, you call down fire on this by your gods. So he's doing that, and he's telling these like 800 prophets, do everything you can to get them to get your God to light fire on this.
Yeah.
And so they're doing all kinds of stuff. Of course, fire doesn't come down. So they start cutting themselves. So he starts making fun of them.
Yeah.
That's why you should read this story. He's like, maybe you need to yell louder for your God. Maybe your God's sleeping. Maybe your God's using the restroom, right? I mean, your God just can't hear you. You got to do something different. He's just like making fun of him, which to me is hilarious.
Yeah, just kind of berating him.
Yeah, just keeps making fun of him and tells him to yell louder and stuff. And you can just picture him there by himself. What's incredible, he's standing there by himself doing this when there's like 800 guys on the other side. So then when it's his turn, they never get fire to light. He tells them, like, put a bunch of water on the altar. And he tells them, put more water on the altar. So he's standing there before this altar that's soaking wet by himself when there's 800 guys on the other side and prays, and God sends fire down. And so then they end up killing he has all the other false prophets killed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a crazy story. But it's an incredible miracle, right? So you'd be on a mountaintop when that happens.
Yeah.
So you see in his life, he's probably physically tired. He has some emotional things going on. He's had a great mountaintop experience. And then this Jezebel, this queen.
Yeah.
She gets word what happens. She sends word to him, hey, I want to kill you. Like, I'm going to have you killed because of what you did.
Yeah.
Now, remember, he just did all these great things through God. When he hears about this one woman wanting to kill him, after he did all these good things, he goes running away. Ends up separating himself, finds himself in the middle of a desert area, woods, all by himself, just ready to die. He's depressed. He's burnt out. He's tired. He's like, everyone hates me.
Yeah.
Nothing's good happening. Life is awful.
He's burnt out.
Burnt out after all these good things happen.
Right.
And then he finds himself just ready to give up on life and quit, which I just find that story incredible because you have this guy who did all these good things and then all of a sudden no, life is bad. And I can relate to that. So, I know. That's my 2 cents for today.
All right. I like it.
Yeah.
I never thought about burnout after a bunch of good things happen. That's not how I picture burnout. But
well, if you ever have something good happen in your life, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Thank you. Wow. Thanks.
I'm here all night for encouragement.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm only a text away if you
really
ever need
appreciate
encouraged.
that. I was reading some burnout stats today.
Are you trying to change the subject?
No.
I was just going to keep roasting on you.
No, I think we're done with that, so I don't get burnt out. 67% of all workers feel burnout has worsened during the pandemic.
Man, the pandemic, hasn't that like changed things?
Yeah, but I just wonder how much stuff we blame on the pandemic, things that we're already changing too.
I don't know, because I think part of the pandemic, the struggle has been is that you're alone.
Yeah.
So maybe not in your job as much.
Right.
But a lot of guys, like if you're working in an office or even certain other jobs.
Look at all the people working from home now.
You're working from home. So if you're stressed, like there is a benefit in going over to your buddy to the next cubicle or in the tractor next to you. Yeah, be like, man, today's awful. Right. Just be able to like
it's where you can go over and, razz your buddy just like you were just doing.
Yeah. I was just speaking truth.
So 61% of remote workers and 53% of on-site workers now find it more difficult to unplug during off hours.
Because they're working from home?
Mm-hmm. Well, 61% of, remote workers working from home.
Okay, makes sense.
But yeah, they, kind of what I was talking about earlier, you have to find time to unplug and, don't start doing the emails, don't start doing the paperwork, don't start, going home and having those bad habits.
That makes sense, right? So you're home, you're supposed to start at 8 o'clock, it's 7:30, you're already there, go ahead and start working.
Yeah.
5 o'clock hits, you're supposed to log off. You just
You don't log off, you just keep on going.
Yeah.
Yep. Or, hey, I just want to get these last few emails and then we'll be done. And, where you wouldn't normally do that at work, you'd quit at your 9 to 5 or your 8 to 4, whatever you're doing. I don't know, I thought some of the stats were pretty good.
That turning it off is I think, hard for our society now because if you go back a few decades, not even that long, before cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
When you left work,
that was
no one was getting a hold of you, right? I mean, they weren't calling your home phone to ask about the project you're working on.
Not until you got home, if they had your home number.
Right, but most people didn't.
Right.
And then if you go out to dinner, your boss isn't getting a hold of you or your clients or your customers. No one's getting a hold of
it's
you.
Like I say all the time that I miss the pager days.
Yeah. Did you have a pager?
No, but I knew people that had them. No, I wasn't old enough for a pager.
Yes, you are.
Maybe. I didn't have one, though. But I remember my dad had a pager. And if I wanted to get a hold of him, I had to page him. And then wait for him to drop what he was doing, go find a payphone somewhere, stick a quarter in it or whatever, and call me to figure out what I needed. And I learned really quick that if it wasn't important, I was in for a world of hurt.
Yeah.
So it just, I kind of missed the pager days. You know, everything seemed to be less rushed and less in a hurry.
Yeah, I hear breaking up was easier to do in the 90s.
I heard that in a country song once.
Blake's over here doesn't know what we're talking about. He doesn't listen to country music, does he?
I don't know, probably not. But it's kind of brought up one of my points of reducing burnout is, where'd it go? Hold on, I got it wrote down here. The biggest thing that I've changed is I stopped letting other people's lack of planning become my emergency or headache. And that kind of takes me back to the pager days, too. Like, you know, now with cell phones, if somebody screws something up, forgets something, whatever, you know, they can have it fixed in an hour or two because their lack of planning, you know, I can make that my emergency and I can go fix it or, you know, change what they need done. It's like I kind of miss the pager days to where you would have had to page me. I would have called you when I felt really good about, you know, wanting to get back to you. And then, you know, we would have fixed it in due time. But it just, the emergency time thing just wouldn't have been right now.
Yeah. So really working on that work-life, home-life balance, right?
Yeah, for sure.
There needs to be some clear boundaries of this is when I'm working, this is when I'm home.
Yeah.
To help reduce burnout. I agree. Do you have another solution for avoiding burnout?
You know, growing spiritually outside of your workplace, you know, pray, join a small group, associate with like-minded, positive people, I think helps. Yeah. Or it can help.
Well, a lot of times in burnout, you isolate yourself. You're working all the time.
Yeah.
You're disengaging on your social life.
Right.
And so you don't have those buddies around you who are really encouraging you or helping you. So
or the guys that'll call you out and say, hey, man, where you been? You know?
Yeah, you're working too much.
Yep.
You know, you're neglecting your whatever, your duties. And
But
so I
I've
think
kind
strong support.
I've kind of gone back to like the way that I've really helped myself to reduce burnout and kind of get back to what I feel is normal is kind of went back to the basics a little bit. So here in the last few years, kind of been more of a management position, and I really wanted to get back to more of the grunt position because I enjoyed that part. And so I've gotten back there over the last few weeks to where I can just make a little bit more time in my day that's less management and more grunt work. It's amazing how much my attitude's changed. Yeah. You know, getting back to the, you know, what I not fell in love with, but, you know, what I started liking this job for in the beginning anyway. And that's been huge for me. Yeah.
I think it's hard. So as leaders, like if you're a leader, a supervisor or something in your company or, you know, how do you lead when you don't feel like going on? Because you got to inspire others.
Right. Well, and so that's one of my biggest problems with burnout is I project my feelings onto employees and people that I work for. And I've noticed that I do that. And it's crazy that my attitude can cause so many other people's attitudes to change. And I realized that, you know, a few weeks in, and it's like, okay, stop venting to whoever you're venting to. Find somebody that's totally, you know, disassociated with what you're doing to vent to, because you're going to end up ruining other people's, you know, attitudes that you work with in a day-to-day world. It's just funny, the lessons that I've learned through it.
I think this is something we'll come back to at some point. Like, it's such a big thing for guys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could talk about this for hours.
Yeah.
You know, and just, I don't know. I think the biggest part for me was realizing that I was burnout. And it was unhealthy habits is what it was leading to. And then changing those habits and the day-to-day and then getting back into more healthier habits, you know, getting back into things that I like doing, you know, with the job. And it's funny how much my attitude's changed and how much I thoroughly enjoy, you know, going back to it again and feeling less burnout.
Yeah, I think having that disciplined, balanced life where you're even eating right and exercising and a social life and get all those things in balance, that helps with
it's funny how many of these podcasts actually just come back to balance.
Yeah.
You know, we've done multiple podcasts on just balance. It's a different story. It's a different way to get there. But in the end, it comes back to balance.
All right. This has been good.
I like it.
Yeah. We'll come back to this one.
Yeah.
Anything else to add today?
No, I'm excited about the future, though. We've got 6 or 8 episodes kind of planned out and some good things in the works. And I think we got a little bit of merchandise stuff the other day. We got some stickers in and we ordered some hats and a few other things. So super excited to get that stuff in and get it out.
Appreciate if you guys could give us a review on our podcast on Apple or wherever you listen at. And share it on social media and anything else.
Yeah. If you guys got any ideas on anything you'd like to hear talked about, you know, shoot us a message.
Yep. Sounds good.
Maybe it's something we can dive into and, you know, give our 2 cents on a certain subject. Might be fun.
It might be. You may hear what not to do. So.
You will probably hear what not to do.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.